Hey guys, it's Sunmin and welcome back to Your Money Game, the show where we get better with saving, spending and investing. And today it's all about the Pareto principle. Now, before you go and you get scared off by a technical term, it really is quite simple. It is a principle that suggests that 80% of your results actually come from only 20% of the efforts that you make. Last week I talked a lot about how you can change your spending habits in a more sustainable and permanent way. So in line with that, this week it's all about what are those essential actions that I have that simplifies and magnifies the way I accumulate and grow wealth. So I'll be sharing with you 5 of the essential ones in my life that produce the best results and how you can approach it. The first one is having a clear and powerful goal. I don't know about you, but when I started out my career back when I was in my early 20s, and if you asked me what my objective was, I would be saying, look, I want to be rich. How rich? Oh, rich as possible, a lot of money. And if you asked me, why do you want to be rich? My answer would have been, because it's cool or because it's awesome. What that resulted in was a lot of inconsistencies when it came to my actions. So I'd start and stop things, I'd get demotivated very quickly, and at the end of the day, I was just churning, going round and round in circles, and I didn't really get anywhere when it came to my vague goal of being rich. Where I am right now is I've gone at least from refining my goal from being rich towards something like financial independence, which has a specific number in mind. And when it comes to why, it's extremely personal, and here's my story. I am a Malaysian who's living and working in Singapore, so I've got friends and family still back in Malaysia who I care a lot about. On top of that, I have a sister that's based in the US, and I've got a brother that's based in Australia. So financial independence to me is really the power and freedom to be able to see my friends and family all around the world. So how can you approach this? I'd say that it's really simple, but it's not easy. So start by grabbing a cup of coffee, sitting down and dreaming about what is that ideal lifestyle that you really want, and break it down in terms of the cost. And from there, you can multiply that by 25 to give you the rough rule of thumb financial independence number. Once you have that as a foundation, then you can begin to build everything else around it. It's gonna give you better direction, better motivation, better sustainability. So that's why I think it's one of the key essential actions that you need to take in terms of producing wealth over the long term. The next is building awareness of and tracking your money. If you've already done the first step and kind of figure out a rough financial independence number, in order to kind of get there in any clear way, you really need to have the awareness of where the money is coming and going. Here's why I think it's really essential that you start tracking now, even though you don't have a solid goal yet. Is your goal too lofty, or would your current plan just take too long? Having awareness of all that financial data is going to help you make adjustments. You can actually speed up your plan, and you have to understand where you can kind of make the cuts or where you need to add more effort. On the flip side, if you are feeling the pressure, or maybe for example your life priorities have changed, you can again look at the data and begin to see where you can kind of loosen things up a little bit more. So all this data helps you manage your daily actions, but more importantly, it actually helps you manage your emotional health when it comes to dealing with money. I use just 2 things. I have an app to help me track my daily and monthly expenditures, and then I have a spreadsheet on Google which really just helps me compile things, usually on a monthly level and as well as an annual level. One bonus tip that I use on the app is that I always set a phantom budget, which is an artificial ceiling that helps me manage my spending automatically because it keeps me within a specific budget. In terms of the spreadsheet, it's a monthly log, but on top of that, I also include any additional weird expenditures that might be coming up. One other thing that's definitely tracked when it comes to the gods of YouTube is that like and subscribe button. So do me a favor and just click on those 2 things. The next one is related to saving, which is minimize your need to buy the latest or the best thing. So this one principle has probably saved me the most amount of money over the long term. But aside from saving you money, it's actually really essential because it helps you do one other thing. Whenever it comes to the things that you purchase, it really helps you think in terms of what's the value that I'm getting out of this. Does this really matter that I have the very best? Or am I okay to have something just completely mid-range or even entry level? But at some point, you'll find something that says, yes, this is really important to me and I'm going to need the latest or I'm going to need the very best. And that's perfectly fine. That's why going through the process, you'll be able to identify what really matters to you, and that in itself is very fulfilling. On top of that, when you do choose to spend, you won't feel as guilty. So for me, when the PlayStation 5 comes out, hey, I won't feel so guilty when I put my money down for it. Putting this in practice is really simple. Again, it's starting from the point of asking yourself, what is it you really value? Begin to realize that there's always some kind of mid-range equivalent that's maybe just as good. And if you still want quality, sometimes it's just looking for things that are just off-season. The next one is always think of and create value in the work that you do. For most of us, our careers will be the number one source of wealth in our entire lifetimes. How fast and how far you progress in that career ladder truly depends on many different factors. But one of those essential factors that I believe in is understanding what value is. Let me give you a quick and really oversimplified example from my industry, advertising. Our clients tend to ask us to analyze the competition. When clients ask that of us, they're not asking for surface level observations. What value they're really seeking is analysis. So when you approach each task thinking about what is the value that's really asked for, it tends to create two different things. The first is that you begin to stand out in the sea of employees who are just doing what they're told. So if you understand what value is and you are demonstrating it, yes, your seniors are going to look at you and say, yeah, this person gets it. The second is that if you truly understand what the value is, you can begin to use it in negotiations, and this is in terms of your salary or in terms of different opportunities that you want. So this principle has served me well over the years as an employee, and it also paid a lot of dividends during my stint as an entrepreneur. It helped me to create wealth directly, but also create wealth indirectly through the different kind of connections as well as goodwill that I managed to build. You could ask yourself, what is my boss or my client really seeking in terms of value at this point in time? What value does my role right now or the role I'm aiming for really need? And ultimately, it's asking yourself, what is the value that I can create at this point in time, or what are the skills that I need to kind of acquire to create that kind of value? The final essential piece is really having a simple and consistent investing plan. So it's been more than 15 years since I've been involved in the stock market. I was always messing around looking for the perfect system or the perfect indicator, just tweaking and modifying things. I was starting and stopping a lot because I was either burning out, lost money, or eventually I just was waiting on the sidelines because I was waiting for that perfect system to be created. Because the markets can be infinitely complex, it seems as if that you need an equally complex system to be able to profit consistently. But over time, I've learned that this is not true. After doing a lot of research, I really realized that the number one factor is really just having a consistent approach applied over a long period of time. When I started out, there were very few ETFs, the mindset of using indexes wasn't really there, and there were no robo-advisors. So if you wanted to implement a plan today that's just consistent, start with a robo-advisor. Once you begin to be comfortable, then you can think about, oh, how do I build my own version of it? And maybe eventually, if you don't want to use a robo-advisor, that's perfectly fine. But start the habit going. Building wealth can be as complicated as you want it to be. But if you just focus on the right areas, the entire journey can be much simpler as well as much more effective. So those 5 essential actions, I believe, produce more than 80% of all the outcomes that I have, and I believe that it's something that could help you out as well. Now, if you have any other additional suggestions or your own version of it, feel free to share it with me below in the comments. So I hope you guys found this useful, and if you did, I really would appreciate it if you hit that like button, that subscribe button, as well as that bell button, because I'm going to be back again next Sunday. And until then, take care and keep playing your own game.